All right, friends, harmonic traders, everyone else, come on, settle on in on a holiday Thursday. Just decided to go last minute here and maybe take a quick 30, 45 minutes to talk about what I think is going to happen this summer. Great to see everyone that's here. Come on in, let's give everybody a minute. Log on in and get with the program. What's going on? Hit like, hit the subscribe button. I never say that, but you guys want to get in here, get in on it. Come on. Let me make sure my levels are okay. They look kind of weak, actually. You guys let me know how I'm doing. And let's keep it super loose today. Tell me what you want to talk about. Shill some of your favorite markets, and we'll go like that. What's going on, everybody? Come on. We can get a few more people in here. I like a small crowd, but we can get a little bit bigger than this. Great to see everybody. What's going on? Folks, especially for those listening to the recording and anybody that wants to come, it's going to be kind of a stealth show. But if you want to come to the session tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., we're going to talk about failed harmonic patterns. Why? Well, it has a lot to do with really figuring out if something's going to be a reaction, going to be a reversal, going to be a dud. So again, we got to talk about this stuff. Harmonic pattern framework is really been the only thing getting me through this crypto market and these major markets. So get your HPC for TradingView. Come on, people. Anybody listening to this recording, you don't have TradingView for HPC for TradingView, send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. And I think what I need to do to entice people is probably from now to the end of the month, let's throw out like a 20% coupon code. I don't know. A lot of people trying it. Maybe it's not enough time. I don't know. But get with the program. Hit the button. Come on in. Hit subscribe. Hit the like. We can do better than this. Yeah, I know everybody that has it is extremely happy. And I'm not somebody here to sell you on anything, but I think when we talk about proof and being on critical pivot points, inflection points, you know, I haven't seen a better program. And I'm always looking for an edge in the markets, always. So where are we now? That's the thing. Where are we now in all of this? Bitcoin, we got this shark, couple crabs, couple patterns. Where the hell is it all going? Is Bitcoin really going to moon? I mean, I should create a poll. If I knew how to do any of this technologically, I would create a poll. I could probably do that right now. Start a poll. Let's see here. Let's put it this way. I'll put the poll up. And I guess the question is, will BTC get to our minimum 2618, which is 160K this year? Let's put that poll up. And I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. Start the poll. It's now in the chat. Because I don't know. Guys, we're running out of time. And the summer preview, which is really what I want to talk about, big patterns, what I'm thinking going forward, has to start with the summer. Summer's tomorrow. Mr. Ponzi, what's up? Lieutenant Ponzi in the house. The Pons, I call him. Great to see you, man. What are you doing? You should be out. Oh, you're rehabbing. That's right. I hope you're feeling better, brother. That stuff can take a little while. My shoulder was like, 18 months before I was even better enough to start getting better. Regardless, what you guys let me know about the poll, and I want to lay it out because the patterns for me. Whenever I get caught up in the narrative, because Michael Saylor sounds so good. It's going to 13 million a coin. The guy sounds like a genius. He's always been a tech wonder kind. But Michael strategy, as I like to call it, micro strategy was not really doing much. Was stuck at like a $1 to $3 billion valuation for decades, and then he flipped that on its head, 100x that bitch, and bang, here we are. But is it really going to work out? Because where we are currently with the big 1618, I've got full on respect. I mean, if you don't have full on respect for 1618 and what that means in the markets, you're not looking hard enough. But I'm telling you, there's just it's a lot of harmonic action going on where you guys know it's probably over 18 months now. And actually once we got the bigger signal, this is how we went through the framework. We got down here, remember, this is like late 22. Mitch, Ray and I were in Vegas in October. I got over my skis drunk in that live stream. That was just nuts. We had fun, but we finally were bottoming. We bottomed out about 2 months later. But we really made the call once we cracked the 382. And I would even say it was probably even lower. It was more like 25, 26K that I started saying this thing's warming up. And that 382 just blew through. And that's when we started saying price discovery move. Let's do 1618, kids. 1025 forever right there. And now we got to look at it, I think, exclusively relative to that 1618 measurement. And that will define the summer. The 1618, and I'm going to call it by the end of the month, we need to close above the 1025 by the end of the month, June. And dare I say that this candle for the month has to be bullish. So we're right back where we were, 104-ish. The open bar was 104,650. So that's a big number. Plant that in your head. 104 is our current daily number. Yeah. Got a big shout out to the boat who I just spoke to earlier. Hope everything's well with you, boat. And, take care. I'll catch up with you next time. Yeah, just I forgot to give that person a shout out. Anyway, looking at here, 104. I have to say that we're going to wait and see, but we will get the early indications just like last cycle. And the the 1025 number, that's the big 1618. I think we close underneath that for a second time. Then we can start looking at other things that might be developing. But there's only one possibility that we have to go bullish. And despite the lackluster continuation, this has to follow through now. I've been saying this, I guess, for the last 2 weeks, how critical last week and this week would be. And we need to see that come out. Okay, we need and bust through once and for all. Not there yet. Also, this 50 level coming up, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things here where even the monthly charts, once we're there, and once we do roll down in earnest, wherever that may be, that is the signal. Just like where we saw back here in 2023. So I'm looking at the levels. And for me, it's either the 1618 right here at 1025, and then we start this topping formation, or it's a 2618. That's it. There's no other possibilities in between. And you got to break out above 115 to do that. So think of it this way. If we don't get above 115, and let's say we're here by the end of the summer, we're still not above 115, then we're going to have to seriously start shifting our thought, our process and expectations and overall strategy to something else. I hate to say that. I would love to say, guys, we're going straight to the moon from here. And the way everyone is talking about that, it's kind of a blindsided, bullish argument. They talked about that same way they did the .com era, where they would say Amazon and all of these etoys.com and all this pets.com, they're going to replace every brick and mortar store. Well, it was only partially realized. There were a few winners. Most of the other ones were bought out or basically went bankrupt. So I'm saying somewhere between your current level of expectation, which is pretty high, and then if we kind of put that on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you say, all right, if the current expectation is like a 10 or maybe a 9, what's the expectation if it's a 1 or 2? That's what I'm thinking. And I have reasons. We've got a big 1618 price discovery move. Okay, this cycle has been really hampered by all of those meme coins and all of that liquidity drain that had we not had the tens of thousands of meme coins generated, this would have flowed into Bitcoin without a doubt. So now we need to decide, what are the possibilities here going forward into the summer, and then every week that we kind of get through here in the summer, we get closer to the fall, just historically by the everyone else's cycle metrics, plan B, all of the Bitcoin modelers, even Saylor himself, he's saying that the 4-year cycle may waver, may get reduced, where that volatility dies down. I don't think so. Not with the way this has already been trading. We're seeing how many 20% swings that we've had this year so far? A few, several. So it is a critical make-break week. It's one of the advantages of what we do with harmonic measurements, that we create a window. That window, effectively, with that big 1618, was December. And then we are 3, 4, 5. This is month 6. Last month 5. I think that was a critical minimum window entry that, okay, 3 to 5 up here. What are we doing? Sideways correction, pause, right at the big number. Where have we seen that before? Last cycle, but that was the 3618. It really should blast. That has been my opinion the whole time, that if we're going to annihilate the 1618, you don't pause there. You go straight through. And we have not gone straight through. And now we're up for a secondary retest, and we have patterns. We have, we're up here now with another weekly HSI, which I think is going to be the most critical factor. We get to Sunday, guys. I'm really looking at this, and I want this part of the reason why I'm on today, because I want you guys to be looking for the possibility that if this thing kind of flushes out by Sunday, I'm not saying this is happening just yet, but don't be surprised if we are under, or we try to make a run back to 100K by Sunday. It's certainly not moving up. It's certainly checked back with a bearish candle, follow through with another bearish candle. So there's a lot going on from the way we look at measurements and immediate kind of response levels. This is already showing us a great deal of information. We will get a dot. That's the other thing to keep in mind. We get a bearish candle this week and a bearish candle next week. That will send it back down. No doubt. And I kind of think that's what's shaping up here. Even despite we're still in consolidation range. I'll get to the shark in a second, but um, Bitcoin is up here at all-time new highs. A lot like S&P and NASDAQ, but doing something different than what those markets are doing. It's down. It was 1,000. It was down 1,000. It was under 104 for a flash. But we're already seeing the signs. Could not break out. Okay. We tried to get above all-time new highs. Could not do so in the last, I don't know, 5 weeks. And now we're rolling over. I just want to be in front of this again. I want you guys to be in front of this. You do this with the patterns and with our measurement strategies. And we will talk about this tomorrow morning. Because the only scenario, if you're super bullish on Bitcoin and you're expecting, I don't know, they're still saying like 700,000 by the end of the year. Or, I mean, it's just throwing out numbers, or more like throwing up numbers. When we can't even get above 115. So right here where we are, I think this is probably the most important inflection of the year to date. 2025 with some confirmation there took us all the way down to 76. We got in front of that, and I was happy to make that call. I was happy to make that adjustment and say, it wasn't at 106 or 108, but by like 102, 101, then certainly 98 down here, I was like, guys, I don't like what I'm seeing in crypto, and I'm thinking type 1 reaction. Long term still okay, but I was thinking type 1 reaction down to target 1, and man, it was spot on. So what about now? Well, we're still consolidating. And it is a type 1. Okay? We are in the 30-bar window. Ends tomorrow. There you go. May 21st, projected 30 days forward. Tomorrow, day 30. What's she look like? Looks like it's rolling over. Looks like a lot of resistance within this consolidation. Looks like we're trying to print some lower candles. And anything, a close, here's the other thing, a close, and it has to be a close. Has to be a close under 103.5, 103.4. That would seal the deal. We had what normally is, a good sign for a test back into the zone, the counter HSI, which we had that first push, came back. Now we're kind of retesting that line. That's why it's so critical. That's why I was saying 104 is essential now and has to hold. We have to hold. Your main support level, forget this larger zone anymore. I would say the zone I'm looking at now is like this. And it's that tight. My zone now is generally between, call it 103.5 to 105.5. I'm in this 2,000 point zone. And I think it breaks down. It just, we're 30 bars in and we're not doing anything. Here are some of the signs. Okay, HSI is under the 50, guys. And what's even more critical is we have this little zigzag. This little retest, retracement move, and then back down. We crack that line, which is like under 30. You get the flush. Probably the most significant little gyration in this zone is what has transpired since last week. Initial crack under the 50. Okay, we really didn't have it that much. We had it on the first time back in May. But now, not only do we have a little more gyration, but we had that retest to the 50 and clearly headed lower just on the indicator. Now, it doesn't have to be an end-all, be-all price move. But to me, when you go from 50 and you're clearly trending lower and you break under the 50 from there, this is where acceleration happens. And if we were going to expect that shark to fail, amplified would be turning up. HSI would be above the 50. And in fact, it's finally doing what it really needed to do. Get under the 50, flush it, and make the run to the oversold. That is a point where indicator maybe doesn't move much. Maybe goes from 30 to 11 or even close to 0, which is the teal line. But that's where real price acceleration can happen. And don't get me started about the rest of the crypto sphere landscape. I'm fully in. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi per se, but I have to clearly argue that you have crypto and you have Bitcoin. The way this stuff trades, you got to separate it. I don't even think like that total index is even a valid index anymore, because Bitcoin's a different creature. It is, and I guess I've been fighting that for a long time, but not anymore. I mean, the total crypto market cap, maybe that worked last cycle because you had such great move in Ethereum. But look at this. Ethereum, big push move, overbought. Dot can't get past target 1 here at 2850. And I will say this, 2850 is absolute resistance going forward until we can generate another oversold signal. And I think Ethereum, despite the narrative, and there's a lot of people are just pounding the table saying, Ethereum is the whole deal. And they can't believe that Ethereum isn't at all-time new highs. It's nowhere close to all-time new highs. And what are the levels? I mean, we're looking at weekly chart here. Look what's about to happen on the weekly. Guys, weekly. This is why I smell an ugly candle coming by Sunday. You got stuff like this. Yeah, a full inflection on Ethereum on the weekly HSI after going mega overbought. You were not only at 100, above 100, you were like 110. So that tells me this little mini reaction is all hot air. Okay, and that with that huge of a price move, that's all you could muster. It took a couple weeks, sure, that's called development. But with this type of thing with Ethereum, yikes. Come on out into Sunday, maybe by early next week, like when we're here Tuesday, we'll be looking at another arrow right here. Got to get in front of it. Final piece, you break under the 50 on amplified. Okay, we'll know by Monday. Then Ethereum is back into not 2600. Then Ethereum's right back to staring at 2K or under 2K. It's all lining up. And can we even say that the cycle is still happening for Ethereum? Here's 2022, guys. Okay, down there, Bitcoin was 18K. And it didn't go to all-time new highs, didn't even get to the 886. A double top at the 786 like this. And what did we do? We went 786 to 786. That's symmetry. But all you can muster is what? A 382? Because that's what it is. You're not getting above this swing 382 move. I can't tell you how weak that is. It looks like this. I mean, for everything that went down with Ethereum, if this was super strong, okay, we're at the 50 level. We're at the 50 level. Off the all-time hop is a 382. But even that, so let's assume that is the B point for Ethereum. Where does it need to go? Well, minimum 382. That's like 23, under 23. 50 level, 2150. 618's most likely down here. It's 2K. It's 2K. You heard it here first. 2K. Then maybe something like that for the whole cycle. Because when I'm connecting X, A, B, C, D to define possibilities of the move, that's it. Like maybe we have a retracement and then you come back up, and months down the road, if that's the only possibility I can really trace out, yikes. No, I'm not a fan. You guys know I have not been a fan of this for a long time. So what do you do? What do you do? I think so, but someone's saying Tron. Tron has been that. One, I don't know. Tron is something. Look, I'm not long. I don't have any Tron. I admire the uptrend, but maybe that's getting a little heavy. I just, I'm not, and I'm certainly not going to embrace something like that. Looking a little top heavy on the weekly. There's HSI out of the zone, full inflection. That was last week. So just beware. Buyer beware. I just don't like these mechanics. I don't like these alignments. And things that have had beautiful patterns, don't know. I mean, that is the essence of what's happening here. And really quick, another way to look at this is the total 3 index for all of those coins out of the top 10. No, let's go others. Sorry, others index, not total 3. Because total 3 is just without Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I don't think Ethereum should be in the same conversation as Bitcoin. Like ever again, unless something incredible happens and Ethereum went to like 20,000 and Bitcoin stayed at where it was. It's not happening. The charts are showing this. Here's the others index, kids. It's a perfect type 1, okay? This also helps us to really discern what's going to go down on the retest, because the type 1 reaction, perfect. It formed a bat at a high level, hit the target, and again, this is a weekly chart. 3 weeks up here. 3 to 5 window. That's all it takes. You get your measurements right. Within that 3 to 5 bar window, you should know. Okay, and this one, it's definitely rejected target 1. It needs to come down for a target 2. That's 184. That's why all of your other coins are not working at the moment. And all of these influencers that are looking at, I don't know, there's a lot of them calling out all of these AI coins and other coins. Not when it looks like this. And you need to do this return move. You can't escape it. So if your major others index, take out the top 10, has to come back for a retest. And we're, 4 weeks now? We are 4 weeks down, and it's 5 out of the last 6. Kids, that's not a bull market. That's not even bullish pre-construction. You haven't even laid a foundation. You got to come in. And now here's the big, this is the killer. I've been scouring this for the last several weeks. Okay, are we going to get that development where we really start to move and get to the upside? Nope. HSI sealing the deal under the 50 level. This is others. This is like any coin you want to shill me. I can put it against this index and say, not till the larger index comes around. And Amplified's under the 50, going on 4 weeks now since we were under the 50. And that needs to go for a full oversold test. Until we do that, we just got to face facts. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about the shorting just yet on Bitcoin. And I know Ponzi's really big on the futures. Ponzi, I got to look at your stuff more. I just don't. The stocks have been. I'm a stock guy. Number one, I have always been a stock person. Always. And I know the stock market like back of my hand, and stocks are working. I hit one this week. I hit the circle thing this week. I think I brought that up a session or two ago. There was up, what, 60 on yesterday? Here's circle. And they've got a license to print. It was up 50 yesterday. Looks like this. We had stuff here, guys. Here, let me bring it up. Check this out. Here's circle. This is what a failure does. Okay? Here's the pattern. Bat pattern on the hourly. Dot, dot. But no 50, no 50. And what happens? We finally get under the 50 here, and we immediately flush it out, and we get oversold readings that counter the bearish pattern. And that what happened? 143 was the absolute low here. 143.80, the hop. The low was 143.50. I had a 5-minute signal on the 5-minute at around 150, 152, and we closed at 211. That was 2 days later. But I can do the stocks. And I'll tell you personally, I mentioned this last time. I have not felt good about crypto ever since I got hacked. And the old stock guy in me just like, what are we doing here? And it was a large sum of money that I felt was at risk and I was locked out of. I didn't lose any, but I'm telling you, we have just got to be mindful of this, guys. There's too much of this stuff going on, too much fraud. And then the lifeless action in a lot of these pairs makes me wonder. Now, I'm not going to jump on anything. I'm not here to FUD it. I'm just here to lay out what my strategy will be for the summer. And I think we're running out of time here. Where Bitcoin, it's not necessarily even about 105, 108, 110. 102.5 is still the big number. Be aware of that, and look at Bitcoin. Look at weekly, monthly closes for the summer. Below or above 102. The biggest thing that will happen is we're going to get another dot. And so my final piece on Bitcoin will also include a quick promotion. You have to get this program. Okay, this program is my dream program. Because as soon as I started differentiating XABCD structures, and this is like 1997, 98, 99, I said to people, I started talking to programmers. I wasn't a programmer, but I could provide all the logic, which I did. So get HPC for TradingView. Send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Get the free 14-day free trial. And I will include a 20% coupon for those that are going to sign up, try it, and I'll give you the access for tomorrow's session. If you get this recording and you get it late, we'll send you the recording. But this is how much I believe in it. And in fact, for crypto traders, I think you guys need it more than anyone else. Because crypto is all sentiment based, really like all markets, but this more than anything else. It's just pure supply demand mechanics. So, and who's buying up here? Well, the big money's buying up here, but does that mean they're smart money? Or are they just buying it to keep buying it because they're going to DCA for the next 5 years no matter what the price, because they're all in? That's what it seems like. But for now, it seems like regardless of those big money buyers, the inflection, okay, the demand is waning up here. We're overbought. We're rolling over. We're getting initial bearish development A lot like we did back here at the end of the year, early January into February, or the bullish development. We've been in front of all of that, guys. You know that. Even back here in August, what was I saying? That this is just a retracement. 1025 is still the target. And when we got down here with double dots and all of that, 50K, 60K, that was a buy. Conversely, this is starting to be a sell. And I think maybe that's the summer consideration. Of course, I'll be talking about this more next week, but that's my consideration in development currently. Early summer, we could see a sell-off. First month or two, like we did last summer, we could see a retracement, another retracement, and a retracement that will stick with the shark. But we're really close to violating stuff to where if we don't hold this counter HSI signal, just be aware underneath these levels, underneath 101, 100, you shoot the gap to 93. Okay, I'm not there wholeheartedly just yet, but I'm real close. I'm real close to just saying, guys, step back, let that fall. Much like we said 76, 93 might be back on the table. And with the rest of crypto, something's coming. I'm not a fan. And I want to come back to XRP here. I'm not targeting people or your positions. I just want to counter the myth that's floating out there. I think people are sucked into this. And what happens when you get sucked into a position? You become technically blind. I've done it. Lost a lot of money becoming technically blind, where you dismiss whatever it is that you see on the chart. Despite something like so overwhelming, like a crab pattern, and the other metrics we talked about at 265, 270, and then a perfect 1-2 crab, look out. Have we formed any bullish pattern here? Nope. Got a whole bunch of dots, but what happens? What happens if that breaks? What happens if this breaks? And you do have this thing too, that most people are not looking at harmonic patterns. That's okay. That's actually to our advantage. But they will say, oh, look, well, head and shoulders. And, more resistance. And breaking down. And so I don't, you don't hold this area. And you got how many dots here? This is ridiculous. This whole area is well defined. But the way it's responding it is not technically clean, let's say. All right. And until we could pierce and demonstratively break out of that downtrend, I just think that still whittles its way lower. And what do we know? We can look, XABCD is a beautiful structure. Where does it happen? Where's the next we could say B, C, and then D, and that's like 786-ish, 105, 886. I'm just tracing it out. I'm not trying to target your XRP position. And I was a big XRP supporter last year. I was just saying, hey, this is going to take time, but man, we got so many beautiful things going on. There you go. This undeniable bat. And I was saying that about this bat as well, that we couldn't do anything until we broke this downtrend. But you guys know what I was saying. When we cracked that down here, August, September, told you I was long. And impatiently waiting. Take it to heart, people. That's why you're here. I'm here to highlight the important points, help you in your harmonic comprehension so that you can make the same reads on your current markets, future markets, And the simple fact is, if you don't have something in development, 4-hour chart, daily something, it's not there. It's big distribution. Even look at and the 4-hour patterns here. I said this last time as well. I just keep doing these successive lower highs and lower lows. And I'm going to say under 175, a close under 175, and you just shoot the gap all the way back down until I see something. I am just gonna kind of keep the powder dry, as they say, and just patiently wait. I've been frustrated, but there's been a lot of other markets that have been phenomenal for me, and I'm gonna stick with those. Okay, look at gold now. All right, what's up with gold? Is gold, what happened? Did we get some news? I told you guys I'm long Pax gold, and still, what about gold? Well, gold's 33.90. 30, it was 3,500. Pax G, guys. And this is no doubt it's running in a parabolic fashion. It's kind of tough. To add to this position up here, I would love to have a 10% pullback, but this is not acting like it's done any kind of major parabolic finish to what started, and we have higher targets. Our targets are 41, 4,500 now, once we get through this 3350. And how do we know? How do I know? Why am I making that call? Because we had the 4-hour, check this out, it's beautiful. The big correction, which wasn't even that big, from October to November, gave you a massive 1618 crab. And we reacted off the dot. Counter signal. That's what should happen when you counter fail. Goes up. Do we see any kind of other secondary confirmation? No. Thrown down again. Bullish counter. 3180. That's your floor. What's that do? It keeps sending it higher. The point is, this counter move, since the last HSI, that didn't get exhausted yet. It's not even close. Look at our weekly. It just comes down to the 50, back up. That's trending market. I would love to have seen, what's up, Floyd? I would have loved to have seen a pullback too. But I've also been saying to you guys for the better part of 2 years that I have been in awe of what gold has been able to do relative to a lackluster prior 20-year history. I mean, you go back 2 years, tops. That's all you need to do. 2000, 2200, things really started to heat up. And once we broke out of that B point at 23, 24, it was off to the races. So gold, and I've always said, something is up with gold. Something is definitely up with gold. Here's the Pax G. It's the same chart. It's just in crypto talk. Pax G. And so where's it going to go? Pax G of looking like that. Remarkable. And same deal. There's nothing on there. There's a 4-hour. So again, I'm also on the 4-hour chart with this, because every time we've gotten a 4-hour oversold signal, it's almost automatic, but it's damn close. Like this, down here, 33.15, push up. It's 150 points. Right back down. Now we're right there again, doing a counter signal off of that's an alternate bat, by the way, sorry. But we can't even get to target one. And we have HSI oversold and a dot. I'd be looking for the turnaround here and find ourselves back to 34.75 at 3,500. And I will say this as well. Our number is 3,350. Everyone else is looking at 3,500. And once you take out 3,500, people will be talking not 4K, but they'll be talking 5K. That's what's at stake here. What's going on, Nick? Yeah, I decided to do a session today. I'm glad you showed up. Hopefully it make today less boring. But we need to talk about what's going to go down for the summer. Because I want trending markets. I'm not going to tolerate this sideways nonsense, do nothing, stellar lumens. Hello, I'm talking to you. Stellar lumens. I have big chunk of money sitting on this between 25 and 30 cents, and you can't do anything. And look, the harmonic patterns are amazing, defining the levels. Okay, the confirmation, that was a true advancement, but you still need to be a trader, make those assessments. Stellar lumens did the crazy type 1 all in the same day, back down for the 2. Confirmation was finally 24 cents for the first time. Kind of a secondary thing. I wasn't too crazy about that, but I thought, all right, maybe that looks all right. Slightly higher HSI. What do? We run counter overbought dot. Oh, another bullish HSI. This is where I truly feel it's make or break, because that's a beautiful convergence of a secondary dot, maybe even a tertiary dot, but all it can do is a quick bump, 3 cents, and we're back down. I'm scratching out. I've scratched some of this out. I'm going to get the rest of it out. I was hoping I'd get back up to 26, 27. I'm concerned I'm not going to get that. So this will be a scratch to small loss. Unfortunately, I was talking about maybe getting out at 30 cents and didn't, as I sat on my hands because it's crypto. No more excuses. And if I'm going to go back into crypto, it's going to be PAXG and BTC until I see something else develop. MMC is saying gold to 2,700. You're in disagreement with me. That's cool. I embrace disagreement. I embrace the criticism. Give me the levels. Give me a technical argument why 2,700. I have an argument why 3,350, and it hasn't budged. And we're getting that counter bullish signals where it should be bearish. I'll be talking about that a lot tomorrow. G-Dog, crypto is over? Not yet. Not yet, but I think it's been over for a lot of these since January. They did the one move and all back down, and they're doing nothing. So again, what are we talking about when we say crypto? It's really not. We're going to have to go beyond this and start to distinguish Bitcoin from other. But Nick's asking, if I had to rank 1 to 10 on how challenging it is to trade this market with tariffs, taco trade, potential WW3 compared to others. Okay. Well, we're talking broader markets. I think crypto market, this is absolutely different than 2020, 2016 to 18-ish. Because you had spectacular moves. I think in the current market, let's segue over. Let's go to SPY. Summer outlook for SPY. What's up here? Patterns. Notice we're down 50 in this holiday session. Okay, but here we are. We've got lots of patterns on this. The daily is probably immediately something to be looking at. Why? Because XA level at 598.25. That has been a critical number. I was looking for us to push maybe as high as 610. Where did we get? So far, the high was 605. Pretty close. And you guys know I've been looking for that return move ever since we hit the big T2 target, which is here, 482. Okay, I again, for everything that we do, it's all with the software. Some people were asking me recently, well, can I learn this all by hand and measure by hand? Yeah, maybe you could, but you're not going to get the uniform levels that the algos generate. And it all comes down to getting your levels right first, or you're going to be in the wrong area. Right now, we are in the right area for a type 2 retesting prior confirmation. That is off of this December yellow dot, double dot, and that was like 603, 602.97. Let's get some serious exact levels. 603 is a ceiling for now. You know, I was thinking maybe we could bump fully to 610. I think we got to stick to the primary measurements, 603. And it's not above 603. So I'm going to look for an exact close on the index. Is it under 60.30 on the index, 603 on the ETF? A lot can change in 2 weeks. And we're getting out here. We've got, I guess, like not even 10 more days in the month. About 7 more trading sessions. So I'm definitely hyper focused. And I've always said we are in a window of unbelievable scrutiny. That what happens in this window, this 2-week window, the monthly close, is going to tell us a great deal about the summer and the rest of the year. Okay, I guess my bullish argument would be that what this ends up being is a type 1 reaction. Okay, and that pivot point was a massive shakeout monthly bar within the long-term uptrend, and we keep registering, climbing. We don't have to explode, but we definitely have to be demonstratively bullish on the monthly, and the weeklies probably better because we can see that in-between character. Just keep printing higher lows, and higher lows at this point are more important than higher highs and even green bars. It should be green bars mostly, but the minute we close the week under a prior week and it's a bearish bar, I'd start looking. That's under 595. That's a big deal for tomorrow. And it looks like, they're selling it off. Okay, in the holiday market right now, ES is off, I don't know, 50. Quick, let's go there. Big stuff, guys. I mean, and again, I can sit here and just say, oh, it's big stuff, it's big stuff. No, it's big. It's big. You're going to find out how big this action will be probably 4 to 6 weeks from now. But if I'm right about this inflection and it gets rejected quickly here, we're in I would say a 3-bar, 4-bar window against the weekly resistance. I mean, that's pretty nice. You look at all of that. Now, here at the beginning of the year, that was a tough case because we were looking for a type 1 reaction, but what happened? Just a quick reaction, no follow through, couldn't get out of the zone. And then we go back and we form another HSI. This got really kind of ugly on this. No, that's the wrong one. No, it's here. Sorry, wrong pattern. There you go. T1, but there was the dot. Sorry, I had that adjusted. Your B-ADJ, that has to be off. This is the futures chart, by the way, just to clarify that. That's why the pattern changed. You're going to get slightly different reads when you don't adjust for contracts. Regardless, you guys know I was looking for something to pull off of this big pattern. it was delayed. Okay. And why was it delayed? Well, you couldn't get HSI and amplified to break down under the 50 at the same time. That eventually came like late February. We'll be looking for the same reading in a few weeks. We're not there yet, but again, we're at the level. Now, let's watch indicator, HSI. Can you get under 50? Okay, I'm going to start looking at this. But I still think, like I said, it's probably 3-4 weeks away, and then here's amplified. That too, if that rolls under the 50. These are the things to look for up in this critical zone. If it's going to be a failure, okay, flat out, just steamroll the type 2. You will not get confirmation. You will just blow through 6180 and keep running. Not there yet. And again, I think if you start to slow up the momentum in this zone where you just need to focus on the prior weekly low going forward, that's 59.30, 59.27. What are we? We're down 56 right now in the holiday session. Who knows? Too much narrative, too much noise at the moment to even make an assessment of, oh, okay, there's going to be a massive war and that's going to be this or that. War is always good for the stock market, unfortunately. But what about asset allocation? Are people going to put their money to work? What about interest rates? Are they a problem? They've been a problem for 3 years. Yet the market is close to all-time highs. I'm still of the opinion that, look, the monthly chart remains the most critical, unbelievable harmonic specimen of all time. And this zone, we will be utilizing this zone and these targets for probably the next 3 years. Much in the way that we've done in past occasions. You go back, we've had prior examples. You know, we've had this butterfly. That was 2015. That was a failure, a type 1 failure. It hit it, went through. This is what Bitcoin should be doing, guys. Bitcoin should be violating the zone, violating the confirmation, sideways to up, and then break out like there. That would be the Bitcoin scenario. And then how do we project failures? I mean, that's a butterfly. And so the rationale is this. And I'm going to get into the details of the ratio scale and stuff like that. But once we violate that butterfly, then, okay, we're looking at 1618. What is that doing? And in fact, 1618 to 1902, that's the zone. Why? Because that defines the character. A 1618, a little overspill for that zone. And so once you get even above that, that was the real start of the acceleration. Just 24K, insane. And where's that? Beyond that 1902 level, yeah, we start thinking extreme. There are other levels, but we think extreme character. And, you know, off of that failed butterfly, the 2618 was like, that was the extension before the COVID crash. But we can use those levels and you just see how that scale unfolds here. 2618 there, come off. All right, right back up. And then we're thinking 314 or 3618, which is like our top end always. That got you to like 4K. But you know that down here. I mean, you're thinking when you're breaking out of 1618 and you continue, you're thinking this is going extreme. It's taking on an extreme character. This is the Bitcoin model. This is what Bitcoin should be doing over the next several weeks. And that's exactly the kind of behavior I'm looking for going forward. Where once we clear it out, if we clear it out, then we can shoot for 314-3618. Don't know. I don't know how you can use a slide ruler. You can use it, but I don't know how you trade off your phones, you younger guys. The bust out move, Andrew says it's going to come in a week. You're going to need to see it. Maybe it is the see what happens with the budget. I'm trying to think because the war news, if you were going to get something off the war news, it's not happening. Not yet. I don't know. I'm favoring stocks over crypto. I think there's just amazing opportunities. Okay, and I'm going to stay with that more than getting sidelined in some swampy crypto action and look at individual stuff like the things I've talked about. There's the slower Mag 7 top tier things like you guys know I'm still long Amazon. I love Amazon. I think it continues to run where we get up to 230-ish. We're almost there. Whereas it's a daily retest of the crab. After the shark, it's, what's that, 231? That stuff's working. Broadcom working. You got a couple patterns up here now. This hop level on the bat. But at least that stuff is moving. And even if you get a retracement, it responds, rebounds. Semiconductors, they're working. I would love to see Apple back at this type 2 deep crab. That's 185. Guys, if we get Apple down here, 185 to 175. All right, that's going to be another generational buy. A lot like we saw the last time we had this retest. You go back, we had a couple patterns, 22-ish. But here, back on the daily, this bat in 24, these patterns come around like once every 18 months or so. This is a big one. And the rest of them are doing great. And then you have the hot stock list, like ASTS. I'm not recommending it here. Okay, but I'm showing you the stocks that are truly moving. ASTS, the quantum stocks, qubits, which I added to there. You got daily HSI up here. We'll get a dot probably tomorrow. Keep an eye on that. Or that's D-Wave. And then the other one was Quantum Corp, which has already done a sizable move. You got to wait for a 4 hour. Can we get a little pullback? Some oversold signals on the 4 hour? Maybe back at like 17-ish. But these are happening. And the same way like Palantir did amazing things. I mean, Palantir's got a shark. Bearish at the moment. It got rejected on the day it hit the hop level. 141.54. Yes, it can go higher. But for now, respecting hop, nothing there on HSI just yet. Yeah, IONQ is another one in that quantum sector. Like that. And I like this one because it's setting up for the return move. Oh, hold on. Thank you. 37, guys. With the dot. And dot trigger. I expect that back to like 49 pretty quickly. This stuff's going to continue. It continues from here. Yeah. What's QMCO? I've got that on my list. I'm pretty sure. QMCO. That's Quantum Corp. How is that different from what's the QUBT? Oh, that's qubits. No, that's quantum computing. Oh, and the other one's just quantum core. QMCD. QMCO, sorry. Well, you know what I'm going to say. Is there anything here? Do we have a pattern? Not really. Kind of in an 886 reset after going, jeez, that's nuts. That was $3. That's 88. And now you're back to 9. I don't have anything there, though. I mean, maybe some daily stuff, but there's no structure. It looks like crypto. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'd rather have a pattern. Can I at least have a pattern on a 4-hour chart? It's just not there, guys. Not yet. There's others. This isn't it. This isn't quantum. This is medical specialties. But this is a beat up one. But look at all the patterns down here. A deep crab at 488. That's not quantum, but it's got it has a bunch of nice patterns. I'll tell you what, some of the semis that were super beat up, they've got patterns too, and maybe we're looking at. I like the semis. Maybe some of these get like a type 2. That's on semi. Those were all the cheap chips. I think, yeah, on the weekly too. Or even the better one, SMCI. Is this going to get back to 100? Come on, SMCI. Nice patterns here. Look, just use this pattern. It is a type 1. We didn't get all the way down for the type 2. Damn shame. That would have been perfect. Dailies like this. I would say the last time we had anything was back at 35. But that was a high flyer. I'm looking at a bunch. I'm really scouring. Really scouring. I'll tell you one that looks like it's ready to come back. Speaking of ready, Reddit. Reddit did massive retracement to 85. Now it's 140, guys. That's what I call a rebound. And you're only at the 382. This thing was trading 220-ish. I got my eye on that. I hear you. Booz Hamilton, BAH. I need development. Look, I hear what you're saying. Like, okay, it's off almost 50%, but do we have anything down here? Kind of not really. You would need, even if you were going to go off of that confirmation at 105, I need to see one green week. That's another really simple strategy I'm going to unveil to you guys tomorrow. Because I think, especially new folks, they're jumping. They're jumping in without even a single bar that is in agreement with what the setup is. Like if you were expecting this thing to rebound off of this 104 T1 level, you could say that. It's not as strong of an argument as a straight up pattern. We need a green. We had a green last week, okay? There. Yeah. What's it doing this week? It's red. Is there a single breakout? No. The whole idea behind the construction, okay, is that any move is going to be comprised or should be comprised of 30 bars. So if you're going to have a serious move that says, oh, that's the low, it's going to hold, you're going to get 1, 2, 3 bars to get going before you really do sizable move. Like you'll put in some green action, 103, 107, 110 even, before the real acceleration can even take shape. There's a lot to look at. It has to be in the right spot with sufficient development. I don't know, a couple more. What's let me scroll back. I missed a few of you guys. All right. Swamp coins, yeah. I don't know. Oracle, I saw that one. Incredible. Oracle is one of those that, again, Oracle, Cisco, they survived. Look at that. Okay, that's what crypto should have done after the April thing. I mean, you're 120 there. Now you're 210. Are you kidding me? And that's an all-time new high. Oracle, one of the original 4 horsemen, if any of you remember that. Now, let's get some scale to this. And I recommend that everyone does this. Go back on your long-term charts. Look at weekly and monthly signals. HSI oversold just last month, registered like there, and a few others. And back here, I have to say, it's pretty big stuff. Okay, so there's a lot to look at. And that's, I'm not saying jump at 210, but, Oracle, that keeps going. And in fact, you could probably assume with that significant of a move, much like the last one, like here's the last one back in 22. This is happening even more quickly, but once that recovery takes shape, what are you targeting? You're targeting a 1618 price discovery move, which is there. Down here. There to there. And I'm saying Oracle too, great chart, 1618. These are minimum. Okay, off of that oversold reading, 1618 gets you to like 250, guys. 247. And then what if it's crazy? 2618 would be the minimum. That gets you to 3.25. That's how to think about it. First get to the 1618. But this kind of move oversold and then just rocking like that. Show me a crypto that's doing that. I haven't seen one. Not like that. Couple more. LW. Oh, what is that? LW. It's on the tip of my tongue. Lamb Weston. I was going to say Life Weston. Lamb Weston. Food specialty candy. Huh. Well, monthly. This kind of reminds me of like Hershey's. That's a beautiful bat pattern. No confirmation, guys. So, I break it on a weekly. Same chart on the weekly. Okay. It's a beautiful pattern, my man. Where's the dot? You have HSI. It looks like we're going to come back. You're 53 currently. That's probably at 47. And until you get that, no thanks. And another thing, just got to highlight. Like, how do you really know if this thing's going to bust out or move? Sorry. You got to get above the 50. Look at what Amplified's doing. This is some of the stuff I'm looking at Bitcoin right now. You got to get above the 50 to really have a trending move, because we're looking for stuff more than reactions. Couple more. What's up, Mr. Call? RX, that's recursion, right? Pharmaceutical. Isn't that the one NVIDIA bought? Shark. Weekly Shark. Okay. This is a little bit better. This is, all right, you got me here. I don't have confirmation. I wish I had confirmation there, but at least you're above the 50. When I say be above the 50 with a pattern, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And you're looking for not moon, but you're looking for type 1, which is 5 to 977. Frame it out. And can we get Amplified to bump up? What normally happens, you'll hit the pattern, you'll go sideways. As you get the development sideways, your indicator will turn up and start to reinforce the argument that's like, okay, this is starting to go. Get above that 50 level and go. Couple more. Oh, I haven't looked at that in a long time. That was one of the best stocks of the early 2000s, Sam Adams. But is anybody drinking anymore like they used to? I don't think so. And Sam Adams was like, that was trading like, I don't know, 30 a share, and it went to what, 300 or more? Oh no, it went much higher than 300. Let's go. Oh no. Yeah, it went to, look at that. Remember what I was saying? Early 2000s, late 90s, that's when it came out. It was the craft beer craze. And it exploded. This is, man, talk about historic longs. $8. All right. Yeah, it's not crypto and you do 100x in one cycle. $8, $10, 130x at the top, all the way back down. What's the problem here? Because it's 200 now. If you were going to look at any area on the monthly, it really should have held like 310, 300 at most. Failed. Nothing really there. Because look, there's the dot and HSI goes back down. Again, this 50 technique, it's kind of the final question I ask myself. If I'm bullish, am I above the 50, especially with amplified? No, and that's back down. I don't know what's going on there. Because how do you have a company that goes from 8 to 1300 and now back to 200? And just because it lost, what are we talking about here? Almost 90%, 85% of its total market cap? This is a problem. And I would say that any possible recovery really broke down at under 310 on the weekly. See it on the weekly chart. And even with the counter signal here, it's a good stock. I mean, it was a great stock for a long time. And then it absolutely got crushed. Maybe that was an assumed buyout or something. I don't know. And then the shorts came in and crushed it for 4 years. Also, trends change, guys. Markets change. That is just keep that in the back of your whatever. It's kind of reminds me like Budweiser when they did those shenanigans. Okay. Big patterns at 49. Back every time we get to 49. Look, we got patterns here. All right. But is this in a trending situation or recovery situation? It's a great pattern. Take out all the nonsense. Okay. I think they learned from that mistake. But the framework tells me, 49 here, got to hold long term. And we haven't really done much. And Budweiser was another one that you go back. Yeah, they took them private and then they brought them back out. But, 2010 till 2016 or so, remarkable. Steady uptrend, and then it fails. Trends change. People change. Change with the times. You got to be flexible. Got to understand that, look, if you're tech, somebody like a Microsoft, somebody like even a Meta or Tesla or whatever, they dominate because they're tech and their margins are huge, more than having to actually make a physical product and distribute and sell that product. But they still have to change, keep up with it. And we'll see that in the trend. I don't know. I'll show you guys something else. Solar Edge Technologies, okay? Weekly pattern, monthly pattern, okay? This was another one. Got fat on government money. It was amazing. 12 to 360, but what happened? That easy money went away. All right? It just gone. And so this is all fluff. And here's the dot on Solar Edge. And that's like at 12 bucks. If I'm looking for a recovery play, all right, you got to demand that there's a couple of green bars, couple of months, stabilization. I still wouldn't, I'm not, I've watched this. I'm still not sold on this. And then the weekly is like that. Who the hell is calling me? Hold on. This is getting ridiculous. I just want to know. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm interrupted by somebody. Who is this with? And they hung up. So tired of this nonsense scam people. And they call. They try to hack your accounts. Honestly, I mean, scams have always been going on, but the level of scams, folks, you better fight for yourself. Forget everybody else, quite frankly. Fight for yourself, okay? Study, learn, save your money. Stick to your family and friends. That's about it. I don't know. It just seems like it's been coming out of the woodwork lately. Anyway, yeah, I don't even answer my phone most of the time. 90%. They're from some company. They want to talk to somebody. Who knows? Anyway, a lot to consider here, guys. This is why I like to stick with big stocks, big volume. A lot of this stuff, a lot of this market, I would say is fluffy-ish, if that is a technical term. Really quick, why don't you guys throw out one or two before I get out of here? I'm kind of riffing, but I do want to show Tesla. All right, what happened to Tesla? Are we ever going to get back to the 440? I really thought we had a shot until we got the counter HSI on the weekly that capped the move. The daily for me is still in play. The daily type 2 back at 267. I just want you guys to know that's my preferred ideal harmonic type 2 model. Keep an eye on that. That's Tesla. All right, I'll open it up for 5 minutes. While I'm doing that, I'm going to remind everybody, get on over here. Get the Harmonic Pattern Collection for TradingView. Send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. 14-day free trial. And then first person to type in HPC30, I'll give the 30-day package away and let you go to tomorrow's session. For everyone else, if you have questions or you own the product, you didn't get my email, check your spam folder. That was sent out last week. I'll send out another one later today, but hook up with me on the Discord, DM me. GME. Thales, you already won, man. I know you won. But Thales, DM me in the Discord. Okay, how about the next person? Let's go right from the top. I'm waiting for one more person, HPC 30. Please, if you have not won. GME, guys, we talked about it. Okay, super speculative. At the right price. We now have a shark. Down here at 2073, we have a dot. All right, my question, is this a trending asset? And if your company is going to keep issuing shares, expect more price dilution. Regardless of what people say, fundamentally, if they're going to increase supply and they're going to, basically dilute your shares, expect people to sell. There's the 4-hour chart. XRP, panic, you win, man. Send me, DM me in the Discord. I need your full name, I need your email, and I need your TradingView username. Everyone else, you can send the TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com, and I will include a new 20% off coupon, only good till the end of the month. So you got 10 days for that. I don't do too many promotions like that, but just to kick it out. I think people need a little nudge off the shelf. But everyone that gets the program, they're more than happy and say, I should charge 5 times the amount that I charge. That's not the purpose. Purpose is to get the tool in the hands of traders and create a generation of harmonic traders that can take this on without the nonsense. Save that for a whole nother time. But I want people to succeed and understand that they can read the market with the framework and the software. GME, folks, you just have to give it time. I would wait for the 2073, and I'm not crazy about it because all you get are these recovery boom-bust cycles. Where are you relative to the last 5 years? It's trending down and just getting distributed out. There's not much for me. You got it. Let's see. DEI for Victoria. What's up, Victoria? How are you today? DEI. Man, that's become a 4-letter word, hasn't it? DEI, Douglas Emmett, real estate. Oof. I'm going to say this again. What's the last, this is a weekly chart. What's the last 30 weeks? Last 30 months? Like that. I can't really offer anything unless you've got something hidden. We have a nice pattern here. All right, I'll give you that, Victoria. Nice. But I don't, beyond trading it, I don't have anything that's super trending. That's I can really say that's a trending asset. I mean, this thing really busted its mojo. You go back here, again, it's not that I'm against recovery plays. I would need to see definitive action. Like, okay, we all can draw a downtrend line off the top like that and down. And so that's the main force. And until that force can be broken, you're going to be sideways to down. That's all. I mean, there's a bunch of these that look like that. And real estate has been wrecked for the last 5 years. A couple more. Thank you. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that. Appreciate you showing up. Hit the like, subscribe if you enjoy what's happening here so you guys get notifications for when I decide to go on at the last minute, like today on a holiday. ConocoPhillips, Valero, if you want energy exposure, I like these a lot. I love Valero. Loved it at 100, now 140. Put them in the class of forever stocks because you're going to need refining capacity. I don't have confirmation on that. So you're 93. Come on back down to 87. Nothing really there. What about the daily? Overbought. Never like that. Like, this is another sign of potential failure. Okay? You get the type 1 reaction goes to target 1. Perfect type 2. There's the first possibility of confirmation, but what happens? You run into a bearish signal. That means this move is just a little bit of air getting left out, sends it back into the zone. I say that a lot. I'm like, hey, we have a little move. It's up. How do I know that it's going to go back down? Because normally we have some kind of counter signal that says, I need more time. And I would say that's probably going on again. 87 for Conoco. I like Conoco. I mean, fundamental idea. Refiners, you're always going to need refining capacity. Always, forever. But what price? It's a lot like Valero. I would take Valero over Conoco, but it's a good idea. Sorry about that. Parker Hannafin. Yeah, I can go with that. Let me catch up with the rest of you guys. A couple more here. End phase for producer. I'm going to catch a few more here and I'm going to get out. But end phase, I told you guys I own a full end phase package. Battery system, solar, whatever. Because after 2020, I was like, if the whole power grid goes down, I better be ready. And I did a crazy solar system, panel system on my roof. I have the end phase batteries. What happened? The subsidies went away. That's what this was. And so what can we expect? 886 retracement. Like, really get it working on natural fundamental buy sell. Supply demand. Where's the 886? We're there. Wow. End phase is at the all-time 886. I'll start looking. Look, I paid too much for the system, but the fact that I have it, I never lose power. And there's an issue, down here with the storms and stuff where, yeah, power goes out a little bit more than other parts of the country. But not at my place. But, I would think that would revolutionize, like, where everyone should have panels on their home and a battery system to reduce whatever. I just don't think these clowns are serious about true energy, green energy revolution. I do think, I hate to say it, but, it is a scam. That's how I felt when I really learned about the details of how the solar industry is run. I still like the product, but you're not going to get mass adoption. That's what that's showing. Maybe we start looking at end phase, but boy, you're at the all-time 886, not showing much. I like that one. And the solar panel stocks, they should really be happening, but it's not. Look, the last 4 years when that was the team that was supposed to realize this, they didn't do anything. They didn't serve their purpose of what they say they're all about. They just want to get rid of oil. Well, you should have boosted the solar panel and battery industry, and you didn't. There's the solar ETF. Remember, we got a massive bat pattern here at 33. I got to have a pattern, got to have levels. Look what happened. On the weekly chart, we got oversold, registered back up, and this is the beauty of what HSI and the software can do for you. If I was in this trade at this bat pattern, as soon as I see that counter HSI, I'm out. Scratch it, look for the retest. Now, I like the larger pattern. It's here on the weekly, and I think the monthly, yeah. And monthly's probably the interval to be looking. That's more like 29.84. No confirmation yet, guys. Close, but I'd be looking for that. And then here comes the 50 marker. Got to get above that 50 level to expect a larger turnaround. Again, that's something else I'll talk about tomorrow. A couple more. ARHS for the G-Dog. Are you really in the UK? And if you are, how the hell are you doing over there? I hear stories. Is it still the fabulous London town of decades ago? Our house, or our house. What is that? Consumer durables with a shark. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep looking on that. I don't know if this market really wants consumer durables at this point for big movers, but get above, still go on the readings. Get above the 50, please. Not there quite yet, but okay, quality. Big retracement down here at the shark on a weekly basis. I don't expect much. Maybe at some point you get to 13 from 8, but you need larger development. I don't know, guys. I'm more into stuff like, look, Taiwan Semi. I told you guys about that way back in February and March. And Taiwan Semi just been phenomenal with the shark. And that's a retracement within an uptrend. And this is, again, the whole premise of what I'm saying. You go back, look 30 weeks, 30 months, whatever. Can you draw an arrow like that and then get it on these retracement patterns? So different than a lot of these others. Keep it going. Couple more, and then I'm going to get out of here, go get some lunch, maybe pool. Mr. Ken, what's up, Mr. Ken? How are you? SLI. Standard Lithium. All right, another great example of this should be an area that works, but 115 to $2 for 2 years. Maybe at some point, what's the weekly chart? I mean, this is like yeah, that's all right. I mean, that's like an LAC, Lithium America. But this stuff trades like natural gas. It takes a while to turn the ship around. You do have bullish HSI, but real movement, the weekly, it should be going. It should be blasting after we get above these 50s. So, yeah, just be careful. Like if we get another counter dot at like 217 and we can't get out of the zone, that's probably it for now. The problem with the commodity stuff, it needs a big cycle to get moving. And so that could go sideways for a while. I mean, I think you could see 217, but can you get above 217? I don't know. Jacob G, you keep getting the trial but no response. Well, Jacob G, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you please Jacob G, connect with me on the Discord. Send me a note. Send me your information. I'll set you up with 30 days. You definitely should be getting a response, man. You should get an email within 24 hours. All right, couple more. What's up, Mr. Powell? PAL. YFI in the crypto space? Okay. Another one. I know this. I haven't seen this in a long time. Folks, that's crypto. That is crypto to a T, where you have not moved off the all-time lows. And I can't recommend anything for you. Maybe you go from 5 to 7,000 someday, or even 5 to 10,000, but that's it. I mean, is that trending? No. I want you guys to focus on trending markets. TRP. TRP's like this. Back to stocks. TC Energy. All right. Not bad. He says a senator has been buying it recently. Okay, that's always good. You get some insider trading going on. You always probably want to go with the Pelosi's of the world. But what do we have? It's a crab retesting this other shark. Back to back, beautiful weekly crab. Oh, sorry, shark to crab. And so longer term, you're still in this sideways range like that. And yes, it's a type 1. Yeah, I'm thinking it's more like, it's not 47. It's probably, check it, 42. So Senator's buying. He's probably buying at the bearish zone for Harmonics. Give me a type 1. Back down. Okay, 2 more. Don't know about that. That's all right. They'll get to me. If they don't get to me, then they lose. I appreciate that, Wayne. D-Dog and Shop. Let's finish up Datadog. Still remember my symbols. Datadog's like this, guys. Nice. Pretty nice. Daily, like that. Okay, we've got some patterns here. This is kind of trading like Uber or Square, I would say. We're at a type 1. Can we get... I would love to have this come back. 93. Under 100. You're currently 130. Can't really chase it. I would just watch this resistance. We're not super trending yet. Like if we're breaking out at all-time new highs, I'd say maybe chase it. But not yet. This will come back. That's all right, though. Not there yet. That was one of the ones that went crazy, where it came out IPO at 30, goes to 190, and a nice, almost an 886, but it still does fulfill what I like to see in all IPOs, ICO, whatever, any initial offering. Go through the mania IPO phase, come back, give me like an 886. That was like an 80, 79, 80-ish. 886 would have been beautiful at 48. But I'd say that's sufficient. And then a new cycle begins. I think that's one worth watching. You know, the other one that's like that is Upstart, and that's starting to catch bids here. That has made some progress. I'm not on this yet. I want to see this really develop a lot more. But this was perfect cycle. You know, IPO crazy mania to 380, and then there's your 886 reset. So now start looking to the right, even though you didn't make any progress. But that's the problem if you're early in a phase, like Circle, CRCL. I mentioned that on Tuesday, and I think last week as well, that, you know, that's in a mania phase. Circle, I brought this up earlier, but really quick. This is a mania, okay? Circle is just absolutely ripping IPO straight up, you know, 70. Maybe that goes to 300. 220 was my target. 50 billion, guys, is what I think is probably reasonable. I mean, they can print crypto fake money all they want. So maybe another 20% higher, 220-ish. But at some point, for that to come back down after we finish the mania cycle, be aware. Yeah. Shop. What's up, Floyd? Thanks for this. Shopify. Yeah, that's another one. Okay. Look at Shopify. Where's our IPO? Lots of patterns. Yeah, again, I knew that was the case. Shopify, amazing. That was like 3. It's 2016. But even, and we can't say all time, but it's close. Massive. What's that low? Get out of town. 87.6, and I'm probably not right on the number. Hold on. Remember what I said, 886 reset. Go through a mania phase, then come all the way back down. Then maybe things can happen. It's so close to 88.6. Is this a new trend? I think possibly is. And you've got enough here. Now, not at the current level, but and I haven't looked at Shopify in a while, but it is shaping up to do a bat move where you go back to 886, 160. Give me something on a 4-hour. Meh, okay. It got patterns here. But boy, that was 70 at the low. Now a bat. So still, come in, look at the software. What is it telling you? Bat pattern. Dealing with that right now. We did have this counter signal, but looks like it's rolling back down. I'm thinking 95. And then let's see if we get some kind of confirmation down there. Don't know. Can anyone start a business like Circle? Well, they're the USDC people. And I when they came out and they came out at 60, I think. It was pretty crazy. They were only worth 10. They were valued at like 7-8 billion on the IPO, and then it was like quickly 10 or 15 billion. I was like, this is a $50 billion market cap. It probably still is. I think that's one of the highest flyers you got right now. But at least it's moving. A lot of other things, geez, not really happening. And I would avoid them. We got to really hunker down, folks. Summer's coming. Starts tomorrow. Okay? Everybody else, especially folks that are still here, hit me up over on Discord. DM me, especially HPC owners. I'll set you up with access. So get on that Discord. To our winners, you got to DM me on the Discord. I'll set you up with the software, the package, and the access for tomorrow. It's going to be a really detailed discussion on separating out obvious failures, obvious simple reaction harmonic duds versus things that truly work. All right, really happy to do today, guys. I hope you enjoy your Thursday 10th off. We'll be back on Tuesday, and then market will be firing up here. You know, we were down 56 S&P today. Let's see what goes on tomorrow. On the hourly chart, I just want to say this on S&P. We got some numbers here, but we have to see a rebound tomorrow. I think we're going to be talking by Tuesday. Let's just keep it that way. Tuesday, I think then we get into true make or break territory for the rest of the year. It has to do big things now, and if it doesn't, and it fails this in the next 10 days, then we will be in front of it, shifting our expectations and strategy. Nice. All right, guys. Hit subscribe, like on the way out, please. Hope you have a great day. Until then, as always, go get 'em.